in Manhattan on Thursday. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Red Card Penalty. Score big flavor with Waba Grill's new Red Card Combo for a limited time. A mini sweet and spicy chicken bowl, chili crisp dumplings, and a refreshing penalty punch for a beverage with mango popping boba. An all-star lineup for just $9.99. Only at Waba Grill. Red Card Penalty. Score big flavor with Waba Grill's new Red Card Combo for a limited time. A mini sweet and spicy chicken bowl, chili crisp dumplings. Game lead over San Diego in the NL West. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. We continue our look at what is happening and what is not happening along the Destination Crenshaw corridor. Last time we talked about the promises made to this community. Today we talk about the reality on the ground, and it is not pretty. Let's start with something as basic as a visit to the vet. Customers of the local veterinary clinic right next door to this studio are forced to park blocks away and carry their sick and injured animals through conditions that no pet owner or sick animal should have to endure. Why? Because the construction has blocked access to the vet's parking lot for years now. The vet is losing clients, the vet is losing revenue, and frankly, who can blame these customers for not coming back? This is but one example of a small Black-owned business being quietly strangled, and nobody at City Hall seems to notice or care. And the conditions along this corridor, they are not just an eyesore, they are a health hazard. Unsanitary conditions and repeated health code violations are doing exactly what you would expect, inviting vermin into our neighborhood, rodents, pests, the kind of infestation that does not stay in one place. It spreads into homes, into restaurants, into our daily lives for years now. Then there is this. The houseless are finding refuge in the construction cubbyholes and unfinished spaces left wide open along this project. These are precious human beings, to be sure, in desperate situations. But this is also a safety and liability crisis that the city created and has yet to address for years now. In our prior editorial, trying to save some space for Grace, we did not call his name. But after a full week of running the editorial hourly, highlighting the myriad delays, business losses, health violations, safety concerns, and more, we have heard absolutely nothing from City Council President Marquise Harris Dawson. Nothing. Not a word. The council member who represents this district has gone silent. You see why we call this project procrastination, Crenshaw? And so I repeat, Crenshaw deserves better. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA, Talk 1580, download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson. Looking forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating it with you. Join all of your KBLA Talk 1580 hosts this Friday, June 19th, for our anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration at the Beehive from 4 to 7 p.m. I will be in town for that event. Looking forward to meeting, shaking hands, and hugging our regular listeners. Food, drink, DJ, dancing, games, more, plus LA Mayor Karen Bass, the one and only Luanell, the Grammy Award-winning artist Kenny Lattimore, and a few other surprises. The Beehive is the place to be this Juneteenth, and our community celebration is free, but you must register at kbla1580.com. And we're encouraging folks to ride share, but however you arrive, however you get there, you can meet us by railway. You can meet us by trailway. Just get there. We look forward to celebrating our 5th anniversary with you this coming Friday. It's Moving Mountain Monday on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. And in our first hour, our regular contributor is none other than Ernest Krim III. We call it In the Classroom with Ernest Krim. Ernest is an Emmy-nominated producer, public teacher, anti-racist educator, and hate crime victor who uses Black historical narratives to empower and educate through a culturally equitable lens. Ernest, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show and to your show. Glad to be in your classroom.
Hey, what's up, brother? Good to see you again, and happy Monday to you.
Man, it's semi-happy Monday for me because as a Black man, brother, I am tired of the insults, man. I mean, the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, there's a lot as a nation that we need to reconcile, that we need to talk about, as I shared with you on many of our programs leading up to the commemoration, if you will, the so-called celebration, a celebration that will be celebrated differently in different parts of the country, depending upon your understanding and meeting of July 4th. But last night at the White House in the so-called octagon or whatever construct the president set up that the taxpayers are largely paying for, they insulted the former First Lady, Michelle Obama. And I am so outraged by it. I think Black men around the country who believe in nonviolence, who advocate for social change, who believe in America and believe in democracy are reaching a threshold on the insults. Somebody, Brother Krim, is going to get slapped in the mouth. That's what's coming. It's not going to go well, because there's enough turning the other cheek on the disrespect. And so I've been seeing increasingly on social media, more Black men standing up to white men, cussing out Black women as totally unacceptable. And I'm in that space right now because if the president of the United States at his own home, the people's home, of course, cannot issue language this day that says what occurred at his UFC event was offensive, that was beneath the dignity of what it means to be an American, and just let it sit out there and let it percolate as if it's okay to do that. Someone's going to get, and I hate to say it right here on KBLA, somebody's going to get the shit slapped out of them. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. When we come forward, we'll have more in the classroom with Ernest Krim right here at KBLA Talk 1580.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Y'all did it.
Hey, Los Angeles, KBLA Talk 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating in a big way.
Oh my God.
Join us Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth, 4 to 7 p.m. at the Beehive for our 5th anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration. We're talking surprise celebrity guests, a special presentation, and a major announcement you will not want to miss.
I can't wait to hear it.
Plus, live music, dancing, games, and enough food and drink to keep the party going.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Of course, you're welcome to bring your own picnic basket, blanket, and lawn chair. And the best part, it's completely free. But here's the thing. You've got to sign up in advance. Space is limited, so don't wait. Head to KBLA1580.com right now and lock in your spot. Friday, June 19th, the Beehive, KBLA Talk 1580. 5 years strong, and we're just getting started.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
Onyx, I keep having stomach issues. Please make me a doctor's appointment.
Okay, are you suffering from diarrhea, bloating, gas, or oily stools? If so, you may want to ask your doctor if it could actually be a problem with your pancreas, called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI.
My pancreas? How is EPI treated?
A prescription medicine like Creon, pancrelipase, is used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes. Creon is the #1 prescribed treatment for EPI.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor, and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. You can learn more at 1-800-633-9110.
Before your appointment, visit creoninfo.com. That's CREON info.com.
In a world full of noise, one station keeps it real. KBLA Talk 1580, where the conversation goes deeper, the voices sound like yours, and the issues that matter most to our community take center stage. Progressive, powerful, unapologetically us. Whether you're driving through the city or tuning in from your home or office, join the public square. KBLA Talk 1580, your home for talk that enlightens, encourages, and empowers. Listen live on our free KBLA 1580 app, on our website at KBLA1580.com, or on your radio dial at 1580 AM.
Unapologetically progressive. Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Quality drops the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The moment was terribly insulting. Millions of people were watching. It was delivered from a very sacred location, the White House. Our producer has a clip. Gina.
Josh Okett surprised the crowd with a shocking statement during the UFC Freedom 250 event on the White House lawn on Sunday. After Okett won his bout against fellow heavyweight Derek Lewis, He said this during his post-match interview with Joe Rogan.
Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America?
Some in the crowd could be heard laughing, while others seemed shocked. Rogan did not address the comments, saying only, "Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Hokett." The event was a $60 million made-for-TV spectacle sparked by a suggestion from President Donald Trump and executed by his friend, UFC CEO Dana White. White and Trump sat cage-side on the South Lawn, directly next to WME Executive Chairman and TKO CEO Ari Emanuel. Other notable guests included Meta founder and CEO Mark Zuckerberg and Paramount CEO David Ellison, alongside Paramount streaming chief Cindy Holland, as the event was streamed on Paramount+. Just days earlier, Trump's Department of Justice officially cleared Paramount's $111 billion takeover of Warner Brothers Discovery. Comedians Shane Gillis and Tony Hinchcliffe were also spotted in the crowd at the event. For more on this story, go to THR.com. This is the Hollywood Reporter News.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. You'd expect that some of the notables who were present, Brother Krim, at this event last night, that today they would be issuing all kinds of statements condemning what was said, what was done, the platform, the way in which it was used. Outrageous. Ernest?
Absolutely ridiculous. And I think just in general, when I consider what has happened and transpired recently, again, in consideration that he's only been back in office for almost a year and a half, which is unbelievable, almost a year and a half. I think recently with the postings online of the Obama family, Michelle and Barack a few months back, I believe it was, portraying them as apes. We have to look at this within that present context as well as what he has done and what America has always portrayed us for. I also think about this in connection to, and I'm not sure if many people have caught it because I know sometimes this guy isn't really on the right side of history in our community. But last week when Donald Trump went to the NBA Finals and the Knicks lost, Stephen A. Smith was pretty outspoken in saying that if they lose this game, it's Trump's fault. When Trump was interviewed after and a reporter brought it up, he immediately said, "Oh, Stephen A. Smith, low IQ. Low IQ. He doesn't know what he's talking about." And I bring that up because there's this connotation and association that we see, not just in the past with racist science that they use to justify our enslavement and substandard treatment, but even today, there's this connotation they make with Black people, particularly as we see with Black women now, in being inferior, substandard, subhuman, low IQ, not intelligent enough. And we have to think about what that means for what's happening now in our present dehumanization. When I see things like that, it's important for us to understand, and it's important for our kids and everybody else to get that this is a continuum. This is something that has led to this current situation that we are in contextually, politically, economically, and socially. White folks have not woken up en masse to the fact that white, conservative, wealthy men use racism to essentially extract wealth from this country. We have a trillionaire now. That should bother everybody. And I think it's very symbolic too, as I close my first statement on this, but this guy was fighting, right? He was wrestling, whatever he was doing, right? That had absolutely nothing to do with Michelle Obama. But I think that's a perfect analogy for what we have seen since this country's inception, 250 years. You're taken from everybody. And when people start to even surmise that something might not be right, you throw that monkey wrench in. But hey, oh, that's a man. Oh, wait, they're this. Oh, they're not qualified. And that jargon, that language, of course, being, interviewed by one of the most popular podcasters in our country, which is very disturbing.
Let me tell you what I saw last night. I saw Jesse Owens performing in Germany at the Olympics in front of Hitler and winning the race. I saw Joe Louis fighting Max Schmeling. I saw this Hokett fighting a Black man in the White House who, as a matter of pride and honor, from my perspective, should have brought the smoke and knocked Hokett's ass out, period, in the middle of Donald Trump's celebration. The brother did not arise to that occasion. So, assuming that the fight wasn't fixed, assuming that the fight wasn't designed for Hokett to be able to give his little statement. All things being considered, it's sport. What I'm tired of is the disrespect of Black women. And I've got certain rules in my own space, even for my mother and for my sisters, how they interact with people in my presence, because depending upon their interaction, it could put me in a position where I have to smack the hell out of somebody. I mean, you be kind and be friendly, but there's a point where too friendly becomes contemptuous. There's a point where when you get in someone's space, there's familiarity. I think it was Shakespeare who said familiarity can breed contempt. You get too comfortable with people, then they remind you of your place, and you want to smack the hell out of them. That's true. And so people in my space, right, who have to be real careful, not because they desire to be talking to someone in the space or doing something in the space, but they have to gauge my reaction that if they are disrespected, I then, as a man, have to stand up and put my foot in somebody's ass. That's true.
Yes.
That's true. And so I strongly encourage people in my space, mama, my sisters, or anybody else, don't put me in a position in playing around with this white man where I'm going to be up on TMZ or brought up on charges because my insult level is of such that I'm not going to listen to that. Let's just keep it moving. Let's keep going on down the road. That's part of the calculation of what it means to be a Black man. But then there are times when this white man takes a privilege that is not his own, and there is no way on God's earth that he leaves with his teeth. There's no way. And I know that to be the truth from the relationships I've been in all of my life. I know this to be the truth. Ernest, now, I don't know if you teach that in the classroom, but tell me, am I wrong for saying what I've just said?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think there has to be a line that we all draw. I think that we teach our kids, we teach, people we interact with to always be respectful to folks and always treat others the way you want to be treated. And even for myself, there are certain situations I'm willing to swallow my pride. But when it comes to a disrespect for the women in our lives, whether it be wives, significant others, whether it be our sisters, mothers, grandparents, daughters, I think especially when it comes from a man, there has to sometimes be a statement made, right? And I think that as men, especially Black men, we understand that on a level in which that it maybe isn't often talked about publicly, but there is an understanding. And I think that if our women don't feel safe in public spaces, then that's something that we have to do better. If I was recently canvassing in Chicago, and I was speaking to a Black woman, just telling them about an event we had coming up. And one of the things she said, they were getting prepared to hand out some food for a food pantry. And I asked her what she thought that the Black community in Chicago needed. And she said that Black women, we need protection right here, because when we start handing out food, it can get crazy. We need more Black men here just to show their presence. And that was deep to me on a lot of levels, because I think we understand what that means too. When we show our presence in spaces, it means something a lot more, right? When we are present in our, kids' life, community's life, when we show up and show out and let people know just by the mere glare in our eyes, we understand what can happen. To me, there's no force greater in this country than us being united as a community and as a family, and understanding that those types of things aren't tolerated. We have long said we respect what Michelle Obama has said in office about when they go, low, we go high. But we understand that there's a time and place for when they go low, then we go even lower.
I was on the floor of the Congress of the United States, sitting just across the aisle from Joe Wilson when he called Barack Obama a liar during the State of the Union address. I was in a position to hold my own continence, but everything in me wanted to get up, since that was the first time in the history of the State of the Union a member of Congress interrupted the chief executive of the country in that way, and deal with him in real time. It would have been a national spectacle. You'd still be talking about it to this day if I had done that. So I had to reserve myself. But I know what my own personal limitations are. I'm sure, Dr. Krim, you know exactly what your own personal limitations are. So even if you're with your wife or your girlfriend or your significant other or with your mother or with your daughter or you're with your kids, there is a point where the people who are in your space have to understand that the person you are with has limitations themselves. And being friendly with someone who ain't your friend, who ain't trying to be friendly, who disrespects you, you may not respond the way you want to respond, but you now put me on TMZ because I'm coming at that behind, man. I mean, I'm trying, and I have consistently, this being the 5th anniversary of KBLA, to be nonviolent, to be thoughtful in my response, to be careful, to be measured, etc. But there is a threshold, even for Martin Luther King Jr., when someone hurled an insult or pushed, either accidentally or even purposefully, his own child. And Dr. King's reaction was like that of a father. Virulent, serious, and very aggressive, because the act of violence was perpetuated against his child. Then on another occasion in Marquette Park in the city of Chicago, Martin Luther King Jr. had been marching. His family was not present. When a woman spit on him, and he did spit in his face, I think. He did not attack her. They held another march, as I understand it, a week later. And the lady felt so bad about spitting in Dr. King's face that she came back and apologized to Dr. King. And Dr. King's response, according to many reports, was this: I knew you weren't being your best self. You're too good looking of a woman to have responded and reacted to our nonviolent protest for our equal rights in the way in which you did. And he freed her from a lifelong sense of guilt. For just, I believe, a few short years later, Martin Luther King Jr. would be assassinated. But imagine if she had to live the rest of her life knowing that she never apologized to Dr. King for spitting in his face. She couldn't survive a week after having spit in his face because of the way in which he conducted himself. So I've tried to conduct myself, and I believe that all of our movements and efforts, we are trying to conduct ourselves in a way that people can receive the way in which we are conducting ourselves nonviolently. But do not underestimate my insult. Not underestimate my capacity to turn your teeth into trophies and take them home with me. Do not underestimate that capacity. It requires great moral, mental, educational, scholastic strength, philosophical strength, a survey of all of human history and human relationships to keep me off of your behind right here, right now, at this hour. It just does, man. I give a lot of consideration to whether I want to do some more time. And whether or not it's worth it.
I think that we should, and just a general rule of thumb, people should be very fearful of those who have committed to that type of lifestyle. If you have said that I am going to do this way by not, using reacting physically, without fighting, without tearing things down, or the person who appears to be reserved, or the person who has said I'm going to be nonviolent, that is because they have a great capacity for destruction. It takes a lot of maturity for people such as yourself to even realize that I don't want to, and I've grappled with this a lot because I've had to practice restraint, as you know, and it's because I understand that if I go to a certain place, I don't know when I will come back.
Brother, listen, brother, I know we got just a few seconds before we come forward, but if I'm the former president of the United States, I understand all this go low, go high. Bro, your wife has been insulted. At some point in time, bro, challenge the guy to a cage match. Meet him wherever he is. But bro, this doesn't just sit there. Man, stand up and show other brothers it's okay to stand up to this BS. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., man. Getting the real deal, man. On KBLA Talk 1580. This is the 5th anniversary of KBLA Talk 1580. Looking forward to seeing you guys at the Beehive on Friday. More when we come forward right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Florida Senators Rick Scott and Ashley Moody joined other officials at the Florida Holocaust Museum to denounce 2 scheduled Kanye West concerts.
Raymond James Stadium is a publicly funded venue. Taxpayers should have a say in what happens. It's actually their money.
West is scheduled to perform June 26th and 28th after previously apologizing in a Wall Street Journal ad. Jury selection is beginning in Peyton Gendron's federal death penalty trial. He's already serving life without parole for killing 10 black people in the 2022 racist mass shooting at a Buffalo Tops supermarket. Jurors will decide if he should be executed. And former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama are in Chicago ahead of the grand opening celebration for the Obama Presidential Center on the South Side. The Obama Foundation is a nonprofit collaborator of the Black Information Network. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Red card penalty. Score big flavor with Waba Grill's new Red Card Combo for a limited time. A mini sweet and spicy chicken bowl, chili crisp dumplings, and a refreshing penalty punch for a beverage with mango popping boba. An all-star lineup for just $9.99. Only at Waba Grill.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
I'm a bad man.
Very interesting day for the World Cup here in Los Angeles. Tonight at 6 at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, Iran makes its World Cup debut. Iran takes on New Zealand in a first-round matchup. With Iran involved in a military conflict with the U.S., a lot of eyes will be on this match to see how the Iranian team will be received at SoFi. Last week, U.S. customs officials banned 14 members of Iran's traveling party from entering the U.S. The Iran-New Zealand match will have live coverage on Fox Sports 1 or Telemundo. The Dodgers are back in town tonight to start a 3-game homestand against Tampa Bay. The Dodgers lost 2 of 3 in Chicago to the White Sox. The 3-game series on the South Side averaged 38,000 fans. The White Sox are in first place in the American League Central. The Dodgers are 18 games over 500 and have a 7-game lead over San Diego in the NL West. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Going to a World Cup match in LA this summer? Ditch the parking stress and ride Metro. With direct service from across LA County, it's the easy way to get there for just $1.75 each way. Don't be anxious or confused about AI. Take control of your career when you get the skills to tackle real business problems and design specialized solutions. HR Dive reported that entry-level talent with applied AI credentials can receive up to a 25% salary boost. But where do you find training that you can trust? Future-proof your career and deliver more value with Humans Lead the Way AI. Their hybrid learning courses use practical definitions, real-world examples, and strategic insights to help you and your team understand AI with confidence. No magic, no hacks, no shortcuts. Just practical knowledge that helps you use AI more successfully. Don't wait. AI can never replace people who know how to use it well. Register for courses today at humansleadtheway.com. That's humansleadtheway.com.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. We continue our look at what is happening and what is not happening along the Destination Crenshaw corridor. Last time we talked about the promises made to this community. Today we talk about the reality on the ground, and it is not pretty. Let's start with something as basic as a visit to the vet. Customers of the local veterinary clinic right next door to this studio are forced to park blocks away and carry their sick and injured animals through conditions that no pet owner or sick animal should have to endure. Why? Because the construction has blocked access to the vet's parking lot for years now. The vet is losing clients, the vet is losing revenue, and frankly, who can blame these customers for not coming back? This is but one example of a small Black-owned business being quietly strangled, and nobody at City Hall seems to notice or care. And the conditions along this corridor, they are not just an eyesore, they are a health hazard. Unsanitary conditions and repeated health code violations are doing exactly what you would expect, inviting vermin into our neighborhood, rodents, pests, the kind of infestation that does not stay in one place. It spreads into homes, into restaurants, into our daily lives for years now. Then there is this. The houseless are finding refuge in the construction cubbyholes and unfinished spaces left wide open along this project. These are precious human beings, to be sure, in desperate situations. But this is also a safety and liability crisis that the city created and has yet to address for years now. In our prior editorial, trying to save some space for Grace, we did not call his name. But after a full week of running the editorial hourly, highlighting the myriad delays, business losses, health violations, safety concerns, and more, we have heard absolutely nothing from City Council President Marquise Harris Dawson. Nothing. Not a word. The council member who represents this district has gone silent. You see why we call this project procrastination, Crenshaw?
Josh Oakett surprised the crowd.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The midterm elections are upon us. It is voting season once again. Common Cause's motto is fighting for the democracy we deserve. In service of that goal, Common Cause puts its state and national policy expertise, massive network of grassroots supporters, and nonpartisan approach into action to strengthen our democracy against the challenges we face today. They work at every level of government on priorities that impact each of our lives, like defending the right to vote, limiting big money's influence on our elections, holding public officials accountable, and more. Common Cause is a nonpartisan grassroots organization dedicated to upholding the core values of American democracy. They seek to empower all people to make their voices heard in the political process. This election may be the most important one ever. If you'd like to make a donation or volunteer in service to the Constitution, please visit commoncause.org. That's commoncause.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
If you're an African American mom who is pregnant or have a baby under 6 months old, you deserve care that lifts, listens, and lasts. Black Infant Health is for you. It's a free program with individual support, group sessions, and resources to start your mothering journey. BIH makes space for moms and their families to create community. Learn more about the programs in Los Angeles County. Check us out at blackinfanthealth.org.
Getting around LA doesn't have to cost a lot. Metro has fares that fit every budget. 20 free rides for qualified riders through the Life Fare program. Free passes for students with GoPass and affordable options for everyone in between. Wherever you're going, Metro's got you covered. Visit metro.net/fare programs.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. We are turning 5, and we're celebrating with you. Join all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts this Friday, June 19th, for our anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration at the Beehive from 4 to 7 p.m. I will be in Los Angeles, California for that celebration. Food, drink, a DJ, dancing, games, more. Plus, LA Mayor Karen Bass, the one and only Luenell, Grammy Award-winning artist Kenny Lattimore, and a few other surprises. The Beehive is the place to be this Juneteenth, and our community celebration is free, but you must register at kbla1580.com, and we're encouraging folks to rideshare, but however you arrive, just get there. We look forward to celebrating our 5th anniversary with you this Friday. Daniel D. Honor Mode writes, the threshold when somebody insults you or tries to push you lands strongly. However, in my honor code framework, a little pause can dismiss reacting in a way that honors composure under pressure. I agree. We've been pausing for about 250 years of taking insults, and now that we are on our own 2 feet, our spines are not bent over, we're not shuffling, we're not dancing. When we are disrespected on the scale that we are being disrespected, there are consequences. It's almost as if somebody said something about your mama. It doesn't get to stand. At some point in time, we need a national example of shut your mouth. Or how about this? Keep my mama's name or my wife's name, as one famous actor once said, out of your mouth. That's okay with me. Ernest, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Thanks again for having me, brother.
Ernest, we have about 2 minutes before we come forward. I understand that our producer has a clip. Gina?
The Obamas are back in town celebrating the grand opening of the Obama Presidential Center. Former President Barack Obama and his wife Michelle are here days ahead of the grand opening. The former president spent time with families and community members on the center's playground. He went straight to the source to make sure the amenities were up to par.
Don't be able to keep you occupied? You don't have stuff to do? All right.
I love the dragonfly.
The dragonfly thing's super cool. That was one of the coolest things. I don't know that we have an underwater sea castle, but, you know, that sounds pretty cool too.
The former president then went inside the center to shoot some hoops on the NBA regulation-sized court. The grand opening for the Obama Presidential Center is Thursday, with the public opening on Friday. Be sure to join us Thursday for a sneak peek at the Obama Presidential Center and a look at the former president's legacy in Chicago. Joe Donlin and Erica Sargent host a 1-hour special at 10.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580, the starting of the Obama Presidential Library this coming week on Juneteenth. Believe me when I tell you it has their undivided attention, because it is not only a monument, it is a turning point in our cultural and historical understanding in the form of a museum that will have millions of people a year passing through the structure with an understanding of the type of world that we want to build, a more perfect union for all Americans. And so they want us off message to talk about the Obamas personally. They started a month or so ago, as you correctly and aptly acknowledged, Brother Krim. They started and continued last night to disrupt and inject themselves into this story of the great week that is Juneteenth, our freedom. More when we come back on KBLA Talk 1580 in our final segment in Mr. Krim's classroom.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The midterm elections are upon us. It is voting season once again. Common Cause's motto is fighting for the democracy we deserve. In service of that goal, Common Cause puts its state and national policy expertise, massive network of grassroots supporters, and nonpartisan approach into action to strengthen our democracy against the challenges we face today. They work at every level of government on priorities that impact each of our lives, like defending the right to vote, limiting big money's influence on our elections, holding public officials accountable, and more. Common Cause is a nonpartisan grassroots organization dedicated to upholding the core values of American democracy. They seek to empower all people to make their voices heard in the political process. This election may be the most important one ever. If you'd like to make a donation or volunteer in service to the Constitution, please visit commoncause.org. That's commoncause.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
If you're an African American mom who is pregnant or have a baby under 6 months old, you deserve care that lifts, listens, and lasts. Black Infant Health is for you. It's a free program with individual support, group sessions, and resources to start your mothering journey. BIH makes space for moms and their families to create community. Learn more about the programs in Los Angeles County. Check us out at blackinfanthealth.org.
Getting around LA doesn't have to cost a lot. Metro has fares that fit every budget. 20 free rides for qualified riders through the Life Fare program. Free passes for students with GoPass and affordable options for everyone in between. Wherever you're going, Metro's got you covered. Visit metro.net/fare programs.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, Black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley drops the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. In the next hour, The Faith Not to Fall with Reverend Terry Hord Owens, our contributor. And in this hour, we are in Mr. Krim's classroom, but we have breaking news. Breaking news at this very moment. Within the last 10 minutes, California Governor Gavin Newsom announced that he and his wife, Jennifer Cybele Newsom, are under investigation by the Department of Justice. Newsom claims the probe is politically motivated, accusing the Trump administration of targeting him because of his potential future presidential ambitions. The claim: Newsom publicized the investigation himself, stating federal authorities are looking into him and his wife. The context: he asserts the Department of Justice is being weaponized to attack him and has vowed to push back heavily against any administration actions targeting state figures. Recent state actions and the budget, the revised budget, Newsom's latest budget proposed to aims to close California's structural deficit, eliminating the shortfall down to zero without relying on tax increases on working families. The budget pushback, the proposal has drawn criticism from advocates and unions over proposed spending cuts to education, healthcare, and welfare programs and other initiatives. He recently expanded California's aerial firefighting fleet with new air tankers and authorized the allocation of $46 million in funds for coastal contamination. There is presently no allegations or informations about what the Department of Justice is investigating. We're expecting momentarily for a closer look at his remarks regarding the DOJ investigation, what else it is that the governor of the state of California will reveal about this investigation, and or whether or not the United States Attorney's Office here in the state of California will share with us what the nature of the probe is. Again, Governor Gavin Newsom acknowledging just now that he and his wife are being investigated by the Department of Justice. And of course, Governor Newsom claiming that this is politically motivated. Mr. Krim, your initial thoughts about the launch of this investigation?
My initial thought is, just like in our situation, you target those you perceive to be a threat, or even you target those who you know to be a threat. They should be investigating their president, but instead they're flipping it completely. Again, this is narrative warfare. So they have the position to create the narrative because they are at the highest office in the land. So they can make anybody that is a Democrat, a liberal, anybody that's left-leaning or just not agreeing with him appear to be what's wrong with this country. Because if you are against him, or really just against what he's doing and what he stands for, then in essence to them, you are anti-American. And that's the narrative that we have to change and we have to flip, because there's nothing that should be more anti-American than going against somebody who might potentially run, who is closely aligned to what our values are as opposed to what we have now. It's ridiculous.
You know, I can only state it once again that Governor Gavin Newsom has announced preemptively that he and his wife, Jennifer Cybele Newsom, are under investigation by the Department of Justice. He has a little light on facts right now. We don't know what it is that the governor knows that we do not know, but we do expect to hear more from the governor's office shortly in the state of California. Clearly shocking news to the Democratic Party's establishment across the country, especially if there's any there, but it's hard to imagine that a person who's not only been vetted by the people of the state of California, but who's carried himself exemplarily across the state and across the country, a leading contender for president of the United States, is certainly suggesting that the Department of Justice has now been weaponized and has turned its attention to Governor Gavin Newsom. Expect more on this breaking news right here at KBLA Talk 1580 for the next several hours and maybe for the next several days. I do not separate it, however, Brother Krim, from the narrative that is Juneteenth, the narrative that is heading into the July 4th celebration on one side of town and commemoration on the other side of town. And I make the distinction between celebration and commemoration. we find ourselves commemorating because this July 4th is unlike last July 4th, which is unlike last July 4th, because every July 4th that we live in this country as Black people, it gets a new definition that has nothing to do with July 4th, 1776, which don't nobody want to return to, given what we were experiencing on that date. So we're really discussing the July 4ths after 1863, after the Emancipation Proclamation, where we all felt some sense of what it meant to be an American. But that very definition is changing, Ernest, as we speak.
Oh yeah, it's a reminder to me. You know, when you think about that 2-week period, honestly, right between June 19th and July 4th, that is to me now a great time of reflection of the promises that are still owed to us and all residents of this country, and the work that we still have to do. And I think that I'm glad you made that distinction between commemoration and celebration, because it looks different. And we even know for us in our community, for those of us who weren't living in the, near Galveston and weren't maybe as privy to Juneteenth growing up, we would always even acknowledge July 4th as our own day of coming together as family, because even if we did not acknowledge July 4th for what it was supposed to represent, we understood that that was one of the rare times over the summer that everybody had off, So I think we are in that moment now where we have to continue to redefine what this means to us by Sankofa, by going back to move forward and not get so caught up in the celebratory nature that we forget all of the work that must be done, because we have been taken back in many ways to 1776. I mean, where we are broadcasting from, brother, there was even like I saw a cross burning in the middle of Chicago a couple weeks back, and to me it feels less like we're going towards 250 and more like we're going towards the 50th anniversary of America, or maybe even
Isn't that something?
It's like, are we 250 or 150?
Yeah, let me throw this out at you, because I know we're coming to the end of your show. It seems to me that I would have liked to have seen more Democrats right now pushing back on the administration for its silence on the insult hurled at Michelle Obama. And I think in this hour, as the narrative is now changing to Governor Gavin Newsom, that the same people could issue another release today pushing back on the weaponization of the Justice Department, especially other presidential contenders, because it's hard to imagine that if the DOJ is now targeting Gavin Newsom, you've got to believe in Illinois that the DOJ will soon announce an investigation into J.B. Pritzker.
Mm-hmm.
And it will announce an investigation into Pete Buttigieg.
Yeah.
And it will announce an investigation into Kamala Harris. It's just a matter of time as the Justice Department continues to be weaponized, whether or not they share with us what the basis of the probable cause is.
Yeah.
What is the basis of the investigation? And
It's
if they cannot justify the investigation, they shouldn't simply be heading down this course. Ernest, we have about a minute and 30 seconds before we come forward. Your word of hope going into the week.
I would just say, folks, let's not continue to fall for the distractions. It's almost like, to me, an analogy of someone getting caught robbing a bank. And when the police come, they just point. I'll say, but those folks over there, they're black, though. That's who you should be paying attention to. And that's what encapsulates what has distracted this country for 250 plus years. Not focusing on the real issue, but the way you have been conditioned to view blackness and view even just an idea of a liberal mind state. If we can't come together over something like this, then what does it mean moving forward? And I want to also say, to the point of the Obama Center, I think one thing that we should also reference to is the fact that when you are so committed to your purpose, as the Obamas have been for so long, remarks like that might not even touch your radar, because whether they know it or not, and it's not like they needed this, you just helped promote what they're doing even more. It's a beautiful place to go. And I think he built in part a monument to his love, to his wife, and to his community, while we have somebody in office that is hell-bent on tearing us down. And I think that speaks volumes to who he stands for as a person.
We've been in the classroom with Mr. Ernest Krim. When we come forward in just a moment, Reverend Terry Hord Owens, The Faith Not to Fall, on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Breaking news. Governor of California, Governor Gavin Newsom, has just announced that he is under a probe, he along with his wife, from the Department of Justice in what apparently and clearly seems to be the weaponization of a leading presidential candidate for the Democratic Party. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Florida Senators Rick Scott and Ashley Moody joined other officials at the Florida Holocaust Museum to denounce 2 scheduled Kanye West concerts.
Raymond James Stadium is a publicly funded venue. Taxpayers should have a say in what happens. It's actually their money.
West is scheduled to perform June 26th and 28th after previously apologizing in a Wall Street Journal ad. Jury selection is beginning in Peyton Gendron's federal death penalty trial. He's already serving life without parole for killing 10 black people in the 2022 racist mass shooting at a Buffalo Tops supermarket. Jurors will decide if he should be executed. And former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama are in Chicago ahead of the grand opening celebration for the Obama Presidential Center on the South Side. The Obama Foundation is a nonprofit collaborator of the Black Information Network. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Red card penalty. Score big flavor with Waba Grill's new Red Card Combo for a limited time. A mini sweet and spicy chicken bowl, chili crisp dumplings, and a refreshing penalty punch for a beverage with mango popping boba. An all-star lineup for just $9.99 only at Waba Grill.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Very interesting day for the World Cup here in Los Angeles. Tonight at 6 at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, Iran makes its World Cup debut. Iran takes on New Zealand in a first-round matchup. With Iran involved in a military conflict with the U.S., a lot of eyes will be on this match to see how the Iranian team will be received at SoFi. Last week, U.S. customs officials banned 14 members of Iran's traveling party from entering the U.S. The Iran-New Zealand match will have live coverage on Fox Sports 1 or Telemundo. The Dodgers are back in town tonight to start a 3-game homestand against Tampa Bay. The Dodgers lost 2 of 3 in Chicago to the White Sox. The 3-game series on the South Side averaged 38,000 fans. The White Sox are in first place in the American League Central. The Dodgers are 18 games over 500 and have a 7-game lead over San Diego in the NL West. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
When the story gets twisted, who's going to tell the truth? When they cut the microphones, who's still talking? When history gets rewritten, who remembers what really happened? We do. KBLA Talk 1580. Black media isn't just important right now, it's essential. Because when mainstream outlets move on, we stay. When the headlines ignore our communities, we don't. When decisions are being made that affect Black lives in our schools, our neighborhoods, our economy, KBLA is in the room. This is more than radio. This is a lifeline, a record, a rallying cry. Black stories, Black voices, Black power.
The heat is on.
On the air and in the culture. KBLA Talk 1580. Stay connected. Stay informed. Stay loud.
Stand up!
Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on Moving Mountain Mondays right here at KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating it with you. Join all of your favorite KBLA Talk Show 1580 hosts this Friday, June 19th, for our anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration of the Beehive from 4 to 7 p.m. Food, drink, a DJ, dancing, games, and more. Plus, LA Mayor Karen Bass, the one and only Lou Nell, the Grammy Award-winning artist Kenny Lattimore, and a few other surprises. The Beehive is the place to be this Juneteenth, and our community celebration is free. But you must register at KBLATalk1580.com and we're encouraging other folks to rideshare. But however you get there, however you arrive, just get there. We look forward to celebrating our 5th anniversary with you this Friday. I very much look forward to meeting some of our regular listeners for the first time at KBLA, our 2nd anniversary here at KBLA, but the 5th anniversary of our station. The Faith Not to Fall is brought to us along with our regular contributor, Reverend Terry Hort Owens. Reverend Teresa Terry Hort Owens is the general minister and president of the Christian Church, Disciples of Christ in the United States and Canada, an author and advocate for the church living out its calling. She's the first person of color, second woman to lead the denomination since her election in 2017. Reverend Terry Hort Owens' ministry actively reflects the disciples' priority of being an anti-racist church, being a movement for wholeness, welcoming all to the Lord's table as God has welcomed us. Reverend Terry Hort Owens, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Oh, welcome. It's welcome to you too. It's so good to be here. Always good.
Reverend Owens, every now and then we get the opportunity to break news at KBLA before the other hosts on the station have the opportunity to do so. Within the last 20 minutes or so, Gavin Newsom has now acknowledged that he is under an investigation by the Department of Justice. He, along with his wife, Jennifer Cybele Newsom, are under an investigation, details of which have not been revealed to all of us. But it certainly seems to fit the pattern of the weaponization of the Justice Department by Donald John Trump against political opponents. Madam President, your initial thoughts on the investigation that is a little light on facts right now and even light on allegations, but certainly an acknowledgement by the potential alleged defendant certainly suggests that there is a process that is underway. Madam President.
Well, I think I saw that too on I think I subscribed to every possible news alert there is. My phone is always blowing up, but I'm disappointed, but certainly not surprised. This does, as you say, fit a pattern, and the fact that that Governor Newsom implies that his wife is being included also fits a pattern of misogyny and this really odious attempt to try to carve families, women, and what that all looks like by doing. His wife, I understand, has been really active in issues and efforts that lift up and empower women and girls. So I'm not surprised at all. And I did hear you say at the end of your session with Mr. Krim that it's only a matter of time before other people. I mean, this is what happens. And I wish the media would talk more about what qualified psychiatrists are saying about the kind of dementia that Mr. Trump has. It's frontal temporal dementia, which removes any filters and further exaggerates, right, the tendencies that one already has. And so it's frightening that we keep seeing this happen. It's you wish the courts would step in and hopefully whatever's brought will be dismissed. He's had some trouble trying to make some of these things stick. But it's frightening, but it's also not surprising.
It certainly is. And here's my experience, my personal experience with probable cause in the United States, and some people are going to learn probable cause the hard way, is it starts with an allegation. It may start with something you did not do.
Yeah.
For example, my case started with probable cause because some people were meeting, discussing a deal to make a United States senator out of me. Mm-hmm. Nothing that I authorized, but they got caught trying to navigate positioning me publicly for the United States Senate in 2007 after Barack Obama had been elected president of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't something I authorized. It wasn't something I had knowledge of.
Right.
But my name was mentioned, and that was sufficient probable cause to begin an investigation. And long before I'm charged in 2012, the investigation was taking 4 years to end the probable cause. And it was painful. It was expensive. It was taxing. It was life destroying, and it absolutely was depressing. and it was no longer in the news.
Mm-hmm.
And then, with the government's infinite resources, by 2012, they found everything that they believed I had been doing wrong, to which I was already broke and had to plead to.
Mm-hmm.
So investigations in America start in one place, but they end up somewhere else.
Yeah. And I think Trump's real goal here, apart from whatever any legal outcome he might get, is to do just that. To drain people, to make it inconvenient, to abuse you in this sort of way. You know, I think it's a form of emotional abuse. He revels in shaming and making things difficult. He revels in taking revenge. And I think whatever he can do to make the people who have opposed him uncomfortable, or to really hurt in some kind of way, even though it's unjustified, I think he revels in that.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. We're in the Faith Not the Fall with Reverend Terry Hord Owens. When we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580, more with Reverend Terry Hord Owens. I'm very interested in her opinion about what they're doing to Michelle Obama, the horrible event that took place at the White House yesterday, and the horrible comments made about the former First Lady. More on KBLA Talk 1580 when we come forward.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
You have something to say, and we want to hear it. KBLA Talk 1580 is engagement radio, not outrage radio. A place where your hopes, your frustrations, and your ideas are welcome 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Real talk, real people, real Los Angeles. KBLA Talk 1580, the station that sounds like the city looks. Tune in on your AM radio dial at 1580. Download our free KBLA 1580 app or listen live on our website at KBLA1580.com.
Unapologetically progressive.
Onyx, I keep having stomach issues. Please make me a doctor's appointment.
Okay, are you suffering from diarrhea, bloating, gas, or oily stools? If so, you may want to ask your doctor if it could actually be a problem with your pancreas, called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI.
My pancreas? How is EPI treated?
A prescription medicine like Creon, pancrelipase, is used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes. Creon is the #1 prescribed treatment for EPI.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor, and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. You can learn more at 1-800-633-9110.
Before your appointment, visit creoninfo.com. That's CREON info.com.
Let's celebrate.
Y'all did it!
Loving each other, needing each other.
Hey, Los Angeles. KBLA Talk 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating in a big way.
Oh my God!
Join us Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth, 4 to 7 p.m. at the Beehive for our 5th anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration. We're talking surprise celebrity guests, a special presentation, and a major announcement you will not want to miss.
I can't wait to hear it.
Plus, live music, dancing, games, and enough food and drink to keep the party going.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Of course, you're welcome to bring your own picnic basket, blanket, and lawn chair. And the best part, it's completely free. But here's the thing. You've got to sign up in advance. Space is limited, so don't wait. Head to KBLA1580.com right now and lock in your spot. Friday, June 19th, The Beehive, KBLA Talk 1580. 5 years strong, and we're just getting started.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
Yeah, man!
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Jackson Jr. Show. King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to The Faith Not the Fall on KBLA Talk 1580. If you're on the 405, the 101, the 10, the 118, the 110, we've got more breaking news right here in California. A B-52 bomber has crashed at Edwards Air Force Base in California. A U.S. Air Force B-52 bomber plane crashed at Edwards Air Force Base in California Monday morning, leaving behind a major plume of smoke that could be seen across Los Angeles' counties. High desert. It wasn't immediately clear if anyone was injured or killed in the crash. The Air Force Base is only confirmed on a social media post that a B-52 Stratofortress crashed shortly after takeoff on the base's airfield at 11:20 a.m. Emergency crews immediately responded to the scene, and the situation is ongoing. More information will be provided as it becomes available. A spokesman for the Air Force Base said in a statement, the B-52 Stratoforce is described by the military as a long-range heavy bomber that can perform a variety of missions, known as the backbone of the manned strategic bomber Air Force of the United States. Typically a 5-person crew on such a plane, including an aircraft commander, pilot, radar navigator, and electronic warfare officers. Edwards Air Force Base is located primarily in rural southeast Kern County. Part of the base stretches into East San Bernardino County, North LA County, not far from Lancaster. And so if you saw a plume of smoke a little less than an hour ago, that is exactly what it was. Our hopes and prayers are for the men and women who serve our country. We have a clip that we'd like to play on that.
A B-52 military jet crashed shortly after takeoff at Edwards Air Force Base. Let's go right up to KTLA 5's Rich Prickett in Sky 5. Rich.
Lauren, yeah, sadly, there's not much left of this massive B-52 that crashed shortly after takeoff from Edwards Air Force Base up here in Kern County. You can see the first responders that are here now. Not much information has been provided just yet. This happened around 11:30 this morning. No word on how many souls might have been on board or if there's any survivors, but you can see what is left of that plane. There was a massive black plume of smoke that could be seen for miles shortly after the crash. It's not too far from the base itself. I'll widen out here and kind of give you the topography here. You can see we're out here based in the desert, and there is the airport there, and there's actually another picture of a B-52. So that just gives you an idea of the type of plane that is reported to have crashed shortly after takeoff here at Edwards Air Force Base. Of course, as we get more information throughout the day, it'll certainly be passed along, but a B-52 crash lands and explodes shortly after takeoff near Edwards Air Force Base.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. While there has been no report on the loss of life, when one sees the nature of the damage, it's not very encouraging. And so our thoughts and prayers are with our armed servicemen and women at this hour. Madam President, your thoughts, I think, initially on the B-52 and the tragedy for those families? Potential tragedy.
Certainly, we hold those families, their loved ones and friends, and their colleagues in the armed forces in prayer. I think when you go into training in the military, there's always the possibility, right, of loss of life. And when you fly, hopefully accidents are rare, but this is concerning given the fact that it's the United States military and a B-52 bomber. And if it's indeed the backbone of our military, then I'm sure there will be some investigations into what went wrong here. It's disturbing from that standpoint that this is such a trusted vehicle, but most importantly, those service persons who were on board, we certainly are thinking of them and their families. It's just tragic. I agree. There's not a lot of encouraging news in that image.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. A lot of discouraging news generally in California today. Gavin Newsom just announced an investigation by the Department of Justice into him as well as his wife's activities. We don't know what those activities are, but we should be hearing information probably before the day is over from the Department of Justice. Looks very much consistent with the pattern of the weaponization of the Justice Department. And the other bad news out of California is a B-52 Stratofortress has crashed at Edwards Air Force Base. Madam President, let me swing to the other coast if I can for just a moment. That was quite a spectacle we saw yesterday at the White House, only to be topped off by some insulting remarks made by one of the UFC fighters against the former First Lady. Madam President, as an African-American woman, let me just let you opine on this for me. Take your time.
There are no words, and the Church of Jesus Christ would caution me not to use certain language. But the very idea, and I believe the man in the clip that I saw had brown skin. So I don't know anything about this kind of fighting or this kind of sports. I don't know if the man was black, Hispanic, whatever. He was clearly not white. But the very idea that out of nowhere, he would choose in that particular crowd to make that kind of statement, it was intentionally inflammatory, intentionally offensive, and it simply reflects the patriarchy, the white supremacy, and certainly the misogyny. You know, Black women have carried so much for the nation and certainly for our people, and we're all different shades, sizes, heights, weights, temperaments, and we have never, because Western beauty standards have never been based on our phenotype, we've never measured up to them. And so we have always tried to include ourselves in our own frame of reference and decide for ourselves what beauty really looks like. Even when sometimes Black men have tried to hold Black women to that Western Eurocentric standard of beauty, we've had to really fight for our own sense of dignity. And I doubt very seriously if Michelle Obama will give this another thought. She doesn't have to, but she will understand that such statements have to be addressed and they have to be called out for what they are. And it's hate speech, it's misogynistic speech, it's racist, because we cannot continue to perpetuate this idea that somehow Black women are less feminine, that they are less smart, that their strength can't be feminine. Why can't female strength be feminine? Why does female strength always have to be somehow framed and clothed as though it's manly or masculine? I have always resisted in my own ministry having to look or sound like a man in order to be accepted. And I don't know what's in this person's head, what's in his thoughts, but Michelle Obama is one of the smartest and most accomplished first ladies we've ever had, one of the smartest and most accomplished Black women in history. So it's offensive for that, but we've got a real problem in this country about how we treat the femininity of Black women and how we treat the strength of Black women. We're too smart, too strong, aggressive, that angry Black woman trope. I deal with that more times than I care to count, even in my own role. You can't be too clear of your own thoughts and opinions. You can't be too sure. If you're not appearing to need help from somebody else, then somehow you're too smart or you think too highly of yourself. So our strength has never been easily received by anybody. And I certainly hope that Black women who were out there understand what a deadly and devastating kind of disgrace this is to call Michelle Obama, of all people. Now, first the Obamas were apes, and now Michelle Obama is
not a man. Is a man. Yeah, check this out. Now, Madam President, I'm insulted as a Black man, as a Black male. I'm outraged by this. I've known Michelle since she was in high school at Whitney Young. She was a classmate of my sister's at Whitney Young High School, and we spent a lot of time growing up together. I'm insulted by this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I believe in nonviolence. I believe in spirit energy that emanates from the White House. In fact, that is how you and I met, discussing America as a theological experiment. And the spirit energy that is emanating from the White House is so demonic, so unkind, and so mean.
Yeah.
That challenges my personal ability to remain civil, decent, and in order with respect to the kinds of insults that if Donald Trump's circus and charade gets to level at the former First Lady of the United States, it means that my mama's next.
Yeah.
It means that you're next. It means my daughter's next. It means my older sister and my baby sister are next. And now I've reached a threshold. I am going to smack someone in their mouth if they issue this insult. And it is perceived by anyone that it's going to go unresponded to. My pride is at stake. My insult level is at stake.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see the former president of the United States. I know this week he's got to go high. And I know Michelle Obama this week on Juneteenth, they've got to go high. But at some point in time, we have an insult level. You don't get to say this about us without a response.
Yeah.
Whether that's a lawsuit, whether that is defamation of character, whether it is inflammatory, whether it has it can be quantified in a way to justify some kind of legal theory for what it represents. To use public land, to use a public platform to render an attack for someone who's essentially a private citizen, Madam President, I've had enough. Am I, as a Christian, am I righteous in my anger?
No, it's what I will call flipping tables time, right? Jesus in that last week, enough is enough, and it's simply evil. There's no other. I used to try to avoid using that word and labeling people with whom I disagree, using that word evil, and I just don't anymore, because that's flat out what it is. It is simply evil. I think you're right. It's certainly a demonic spirit. And a demonic spirit, if you believe, as I'm always saying, about God's limitless love for us all, no matter who we are, how we're created, you violate that love whenever you completely insult and dehumanize anyone else. And that's what's happened here. This attempt to dehumanize a Black woman, to dehumanize us. There's a historical record here, obviously, of the whole narrative of slavery was to dehumanize us first, so that all the things that they said applied even in Christianity could not then apply, because we were objects of mission and rescue and not human beings. But this is, you're well within your rights. I have been wrestling with it. My husband and I saw this clip last night. We were out of town and came back, and I've been wrestling with how I will respond. I feel like I need to, but I also know that I need to give myself a couple of beats just to create some language that will not be as offensive in retaliation, that will be received in a way that's healthy. But
Viktor Frankl hit it right on the head. Between stimulus and response, there is this space. I want you to know, last night I was stimulated. He tilted me. He pushed all of my buttons. There is this space, and I'm trying not to respond, but I'm live on the radio. I do have a response. Don't try me and my mama.
Absolutely. Don't try me.
Black women, do not try Terry Horn Owens. Do not try our producer. Do not try.
My famous line is, many of us say, today is not the day, and I am not the one. I'll leave it there.
Not the one. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, the faith not to fall and whoop someone with Terry Horn Owens. That's what we're doing today on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward with the great minister.
It's Afternoon Drive Time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. New York City is celebrating the Knicks NBA championship with a ticker tape parade Thursday morning in Lower Manhattan. Coach Mike Brown says he's grateful to the fans.
I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being there, for sticking with us.
At the parade, Mayor Mamdani will also present the team with keys to the city. Tyra Banks has filed a defamation lawsuit against Netflix over its documentary Reality Check Inside America's Next Top Model. Banks says she participated in the documentary, but alleges her comments were taken out of context and edited to support what she calls a false and defamatory narrative. And after ICE activity near a Baltimore, Maryland school last week, Black Mayor Brandon Scott says the city will keep doing everything it can to protect immigrant neighbors. Scott says Baltimore stands with families impacted by detentions and is reminding residents that supporting is available through the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Red Card penalty. Score big flavor with Waba Grill's new Red Card combo for a limited time. A mini sweet and spicy chicken bowl, chili crisp dumplings, and a refreshing penalty punch for a beverage with mango popping boba. An all-star lineup for just $9.99. Only at Waba Grill.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Very interesting day for the World Cup here in Los Angeles. Tonight at 6 at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, Iran makes its World Cup debut. Iran takes on New Zealand in a first-round matchup. With Iran involved in a military conflict with the U.S., a lot of eyes will be on this match to see how the Iranian team will be received at SoFi. Last week, U.S. customs officials banned 14 members of Iran's traveling party from entering the U.S. The Iran-New Zealand match will have live coverage on Fox Sports 1 or Telemundo. The Dodgers are back in town tonight to start a 3-game homestand against Tampa Bay. The Dodgers lost 2 of 3 in Chicago to the White Sox. The 3-game series on the South Side averaged 38,000 fans. The White Sox are in first place in the American League Central. The Dodgers are 18 games over 500 and have a 7-game lead over San Diego in the NL West. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
In a world full of noise, one station keeps it real. KBLA Talk 1580, where the conversation goes deeper, the voices sound like yours, and the issues that matter most to our community take center stage. Progressive, powerful, unapologetically us. Whether you're driving through the city or tuning in from your home or office, join the public square. KBLA Talk 1580. Your home for talk that enlightens, encourages, and empowers. Listen live on our free KBLA 1580 app, on our website at KBLA1580.com, or on your radio dial at 1580 AM.
Unapologetically progressive.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. We continue our look at what is happening and what is not happening along the Destination Crenshaw corridor. Last time we talked about the promises made to this community. Today we talk about the reality on the ground, and it is not pretty. Let's start with something as basic as a visit to the vet. Customers of the local veterinary clinic right next door to this studio are forced to park blocks away and carry their sick and injured animals through conditions that no pet owner or sick animal should have to endure. Why? Because the construction has blocked access to the vet's parking lot for years now. The vet is losing clients. The vet is losing revenue. And frankly, who can blame these customers for not coming back? This is but one example of a small Black-owned business being quietly strangled, and nobody at City Hall seems to notice or care. And the conditions along this corridor, they are not just an eyesore, they are a health hazard. Unsanitary conditions and repeated health code violations are doing exactly what you would expect, inviting vermin into our neighborhood. Rodents, pests, the kind of infestation that does not stay in one place. It spreads into homes, into restaurants, into our daily lives for years now. Then there is this. The houseless are finding refuge in the construction cubbyholes and unfinished spaces left wide open along this project. These are precious human beings, to be sure, in desperate situations. But this is also a safety and liability crisis that the city created and has yet to address for years now. In our prior editorial, trying to save some space for Grace, we did not call his name. But after a full week of running the editorial hourly, highlighting the myriad delays, business losses, health violations, safety concerns, and more, we have heard absolutely nothing from City Council President Marquise Harris Dawson. Nothing. Not a word. The council member who represents this district has gone silent. You see why we call this project procrastination, Crenshaw? And so I repeat, Crenshaw deserves better. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley drops the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show and the Faith Not to Fall with Reverend Terry Hord Owens. More information is coming forward on the investigation into Governor Gavin Newsom by the Department of Justice. California Governor Gavin Newsom says the Justice Department is investigating him and his wife. California Governor Gavin Newsom, in a video posted to X, Newsom said federal agents have sought to speak to his family, friends, and former employees, demanded records, and dug through years of documents. He accused the Department of Justice under President Trump of abusing the grand jury process. Donald Trump isn't just coming after me because of my mean tweets, Newsom said. He's coming after me because I'm considering running for president, because he hates that I consistently called him out over and over again for his lies and deceit. Donald Trump is simply the most corrupt president in American history. Newsom cited other perceived political enemies of Mr. Trump, including New York Attorney General Letitia James, former FBI Director James Comey, former Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, who've been investigated by the Justice Department. The governor said he has joined the president's hit list. Quote, today my wife and I joined Donald Trump's hit list. He has directed the Department of Justice to investigate us. They have not found a crime. They are simply trying to find one. He isn't coming after me because of mean tweets, but because I am considering running for president. Awful. That's my initial opine, but we'll be dealing with this over the next couple of days with this breaking story, breaking right here on KBLA Talk 1580. In this hour, she's earned a Master's of Divinity degree from the University of Chicago Divinity School, where she was a disciple, divinity house scholar, and a recipient of the John Gray Rind Award given to the top MDiv graduates at the Divinity School. Reverend Terry Hord Owens is a native of Terre Haute, Indiana, and a descendant of one of Indiana's oldest African-American free settlements. But today, she is the general minister and president of the Christian Church disciples of Christ in the United States and Canada, meaning she is not just within the United States. She is a global figure, an author, and an advocate for the church living out its calling. She is the first person of color and only the second woman to lead the denomination. Reverend Terry Hordorns, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Thank you so much. It's always good to be here.
Madam President, I'm sure there's some thoughts on your mind and some issues that you want to cover, and I'm more than welcome to delve into those issues. But I do want to ask you the question. No one is safe if the President of the United States, in his own mind, and the Department of Justice is in their own thinking, is beyond the criticism of offering a critique of the President of the United States.
You're absolutely right. And I every time I hear about another investigation, I'm always thinking, so where's the rule of law? Where are the laws that govern even the very conduct of these investigations and searches? You don't have a right to just look through documents or ask people questions without getting some kind of, as you said, probable cause or some notion. This is just extremely scary. And they're using the ignorance, I think, of many people. If indeed people are talking to them, they shouldn't be talking to them. You don't have, that's what have been one of the most important battles against what we're doing to immigrants and other people in our country, to kind of know your rights and simply say no. But we need people, to the extent that they can, to not participate, even in these very early stages of what I think is really illegal activity. It's a violation of the constitutional amendment against reasonable searches and seizures. And the fact that we know so little about the grand jury process itself is another problem. I think there's probably room, you're referring to constitutional amendments. There's probably room for some revision of how this grand jury system works, because we've already seen it be violated and abused, but for the words of some people who were thrown out of the grand jury process and spoke up about it, we might not know. So our people are shaking the very foundation of what we say the system is supposed to be established on, and the very ways that people have the ability to defend themselves. But this is petty. I don't know if you're familiar with a woman named Liz Oyer, Oyer. She has a social media presence as Lawyer Oyer, Oyer. She is the former pardon attorney for the Department of Justice. And I have found her posts to be really helpful and revealing. She does regular updates about what is wrong with what the Justice Department is doing. And she was fired because she would not move forward with a pardon that the president wanted to give. She felt it was an abuse of the power, and she was fired probably about 6 months ago. So there's all kinds of craziness that's going on. And it's fascist, it's authoritarian. It brings to mind not only the Nazi regime, but Italy. It brings to mind every other dictatorship known in human history. They dehumanize people. They go after the media, and fear is their top tactic. Fear is their top tactic, and somehow
I find it interesting that I find it fascinating that Elizabeth Oyer, who was the head of the pardon department under Joe Biden, thought that it was okay to pardon the Biden family, without a single criminal indictment other than for Hunter Biden.
Yeah. That's a really good point. That's a really good point.
And then he left the rest of our families in felonization forever.
Yeah.
With no explanation at all for the illegal.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. And sometimes he doesn't come home until she was clearly affected by the mess herself. And
she didn't resign. She did what she was told to do, and she did it. So, she doesn't get to pick and choose her hypocrisy. But I do want to say this. if I put on my political hat, I would swear that Donald Trump has a poll that says at this hour that Michelle Obama's leading in a race, in a heads-up race with him for president of the United States in 2028, with full knowledge that he cannot run again, that she's leading all Republican candidates, that Gavin Newsom is doing the same, that probably up next is J.B. Pritzker or Pete Buttigieg, who, just as sure as I'm sitting here talking to you under the same poll, can count on federal investigations.
Sure. Absolutely.
Within the next couple of weeks for something they've done because of the nature of the weaponization. Madam President, it feels like it's not just random, it's not arbitrary. He's going right down the political hit list. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. More on the Faith Not the Fall with Reverend Terry Howard Owens when we come forward right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 30% with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-729-7070. That's 1-800-729-7070. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-729-7070. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is connecting you with services and solutions. Domestic violence and family violence is when someone in an intimate or family relationship tries to gain or maintain power and control over another through a wide range of abusive behaviors. Every single act may amount to abuse. Abuse can take on various forms: psychological and emotional, physical and economic, and sexual abuse. The Genesee Center Incorporated is a nationally recognized nonprofit domestic violence prevention and intervention organization, housing women and children from 30 days up to 2 years through emergency and transitional shelters. The Genesee Center also provides support services like mental health counseling, life skills classes, computer training, job referrals, after-school programs for children, field trips, tutoring, and comprehensive direct legal services. If you need help or you'd like to donate or volunteer, call the Genesee Hotline, 1-800-479-7328. That's 1-800-479-7328, or visit Genesee.org. Everyone has the right to be safe. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-505-8991. 800-505-8991. 800-505-8991.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Quality drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. The Faith Not to Fall with Reverend Terry Hord Owens. The General Minister and President of the Christian Church, Disciples of Christ in the United States and Canada, is our regular contributor today. Madam President, welcome forward to the show.
Thank you so much. Good to be here.
Madam President, I'm worried, before we get to your word of hope, I'm worried in this moment in that if you put the chief executive officer in the state of California under federal investigation and you include his wife in the investigation, that means you've put it right next door to his pillow.
Right.
It's right there at his bedside. They're waking up every day responding to different phone calls from friends, family, and former employees, people whose documents are going, hey, they came and visited me last week. Hey, they came in my house and took things out. They're looking for this. I had to hire a lawyer. Can you all help me with my lawyer? All of that going on in their space while Gavin Newsom is preparing to run for president of the United States. And Governor Pritzker and others can probably expect the same in their space. They're not just going to indict these governors or come, quote unquote, after these governors. Even if they can't find anything that these governors have done wrong, they can occupy their time with the stress of federal investigations, which, as you well know, is enormous.
Right.
And I know better than most. Madam President, it seems to me when we look at the blue states and where the attack is coming from, we end up without the kind of coordination and leadership necessary to either get to 270 electoral votes by 2028, but its consequences and ramifications for the midterms, Madam President, are equally as extraordinary.
Yeah, and I'm as concerned about these process issues in terms of how these investigations are conducted. Before we get to the other part of your question, but you know, there was a group of former federal judges who wrote and outlined the irregularities and illegalities of the process that was used to get it, whatever this agreement was on this $1.8 billion slush fund, right? And the fact that information had been withheld about this immunity from IRS exemplification. We need more judges, and they probably have to be federal judges so as not to express a conflict of interest, to really name the irregularities that we're seeing in the system, and more of them that have the chutzpah and the moral courage to name these problems. There has to be an identified path to create a legal barrier to this, because at the end of the day, what's going to happen is we're starting to lose real faith in the fact that the courts of justice will even protect ordinary citizens, let alone politicians and other people who are on Trump's hit list. One of the things that we're scared about in terms of the midterms is violation of the sovereignty of the states in terms of how they manage and operate their own elections. We don't have enough people calling out the illegalities of what's going on. And I think that has to be a tool of our, what people are calling election defense to ensure that these elections are not sabotaged through some subterranean illegal activity. I was with some young people over the weekend, and they were saying, yeah, the Electoral College has to go. Absolutely, it has to go. It's a time, a thing that was intended to preserve the superiority of white slave owners, and not give those slave states credit for the physical presence of so many Black people in those states. It was intended to preserve, and it was a big compromise in order to get the Constitution approved. It was not just. It simply perpetuated the racist structures that upheld the country even then. But we've got to find some more people who have the legal expertise, who are willing to speak out and name these irregularities, so that we don't get to a situation where our electoral processes are being messed with and we have no legal recourse to combat it. That I'm afraid of not having legal recourse to combat what we may see in these elections if we're not fighting on these other fronts as well.
I absolutely agree. Madam President, just before we get to your word of hope, this this strategy is deeply troubling, because in large measure, for people who are not paying attention to the news, all they know is that their governor is under federal investigation.
Yeah.
All they know is that the people that are being targeted, if they haven't heard the targeting news, is that they are corrupt. And that too plays a role in discouraging faith in our democracy and in our processes, to show that everyone in the process is corrupt, even if in fact, in the case, for example, of Letitia James, she's just knocking down these little allegations, just one after the other, because there's no there there.
Yeah.
But the fact that she's in it.
Yeah, being put in it is the injustice, and we have to keep knocking them down, and we have to keep doing the work and providing the resource, and people who are out there, you have to keep calling. For everybody from the dog catcher to your state legislature, your city council person, your federal congressperson, let them know you are paying attention. Let them know you do not like what is going on. The only hope that we have of making them do more is letting them know that we care and that we are willing to put them out if they don't address these concerns.
Madam President, we have about 1 minute and 30 seconds for your word of hope.
The word of hope is that we just have to be vigilant and really pay attention. There is still power in our hands. I was with William Barber over the weekends, and he talked about the tribe of Ephraim having all the weapons they need, but not entering the fight. So we can't sit back and not vote. We can't have thoughts and opinions and not speak. We can't have authority and not act. We have to get in the fight. So you all don't be discouraged. Let's stay in the fight and figure out how we can use the weapons that we have to fight for justice.
We've been listening to Reverend Terry Hord Owens on the 110, the 118, the 10, the 5, the 101, and the 405 on Sepulveda, on Ventura, Gardena, the Hills. We are all together right here on KBLA Talk 1580. Look forward to seeing everybody on Friday at the Beehive from 4 to 7 p.m., where we will celebrate the 5th anniversary of our independent voice, KBLA Talk 1580, in Leimert Park. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You've been listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward in just a moment.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.